Extra, extra! Read all about it. 3 Local Idiots Farm Podcast.
Hey, all you out there in podcast land. Are you bored? Maybe you're sitting in traffic? Or maybe you're toiling away behind your desk at that dead-end job you just can't fucking stand anymore. Have I got a solution for you? Why not mosey on over to that search bar at the top of your favorite podcast app? Don't worry, I'll wait. Type in Old Men Yell at Cloud, a podcast where 3 unqualified musicians rifle through their vinyl collections and discuss their unwarranted opinions for everyone to enjoy or not enjoy. Check it out on the Zero Science Podcast Network.
Welcome to Jukebox Zeros, the podcast where your idols go to die. I'm Lels.
And I'm Patrick. Where they go or they come to die?
Yes.
Directions. They're important. Just for clarity.
Well, yeah, context is everything.
Yeah, are we inviting them in or are we sending them on their way?
That's why context is important.
I love the intros to the show.
Maybe one of these days we'll actually put effort into an actual intro.
Nope. See, these are the moments that the people tuning in for the first time.
Okay, you heard it here. Nope.
No, we're not going to change.
That's a no from Pat.
No, when people are tuning in for the very first time, this is what they hear, and this is like make or break moment for them. And I'm just going to keep wasting their time because you know what? I need to earn your listenerhood. Okay.
So we got a weird one today.
We sure do. Yeah.
This one, but we got like a wonderful set of guests for us today that have been brought together for really little to no reason whatsoever. Anyway, like relevant to the topic of our episode, which we'll get to in a little bit because we're normal now.
Mm-hmm. Oh, yeah. We're so normal.
Make no mistake about that. This is a weird one, but make no mistake, we are normal now.
We're so normal, man.
Anyway, as an avowed expert of this topic, back from the New Metal Roundup episode, we got Ashley Rogers back on the pod.
Hello! I am so happy to introduce normalcy and continue to expand normalcy within the Jukebox Zeros extended universe.
So yeah, that was the plan, to have Ashley Rogers back on for this one. And then gradually, as the date got closer, I thought, hey, wait a minute. This other previous guest is always posting about this specific thing, too. So, hey, also welcome back, return guest, our second guest, Shane Smith.
As represented
hiding behind
by
a Daniel Amos album.
Yeah. Yep, that's me.
Really looking a lot like...
Max Headroom.
Yeah,
yes.
What were they going? Were they going for Max Headroom, but like lounge singer Max Headroom? I don't understand.
Well, that specific album is a kind of a no wave, like dark synth, think about like Cure's Pornography, but they sing about Jesus every now and again.
Wow.
Okay.
And the entire album just chews out televangelists.
Wow, religious dark wave. That's interesting.
Oh yeah,
see, I like that. It's anti-ecclesiastical religious music. That's I can vibe with that. Sure.
Yeah.
Oh, Daniel Amos is a great band.
Yeah. No, the one track that I heard was that we'll get to later. I was tickled pink a little bit.
Yeah, I feel like we've already kind of, like, if you know anything about the band Daniel Amos, I feel like we may have already given away the topic of this episode before we've even done the essay. But before we do, why don't we apologize for some stuff in the apology section?
Of course.
I have sinned against you, my Lord. And I would ask that your precious blood would wash and cleanse every stain until it is in the seas of God's forgetfulness.
Thanks, Jimmy. You got anything to apologize for, Pat?
That was a wow.
See,
that was great.
I cut that last night, not like thinking like, oh, this will be hilarious. It's a long clip of Jimmy Swaggart crying on national TV from the 80s, and then in practice, it ended up being so much funnier than I initially intended it to be.
Those segment clips they feel so much longer live, don't they? I'm gonna, I guess, apologize for. I mean, we're not always the best with doing the 2 per month, but feel like we've kind of been doing that a lot this season. But we should have the correct amount of episodes total by next month. We usually take August off, but we'll have a couple in the bank for you. So sorry that there was only one July episode this month.
I wouldn't stress it too much. I mean, this whole year has just been weird, and like this summer in particular has been especially weird for like the both of us. Like I'm unemployed, searching for looking for a new job, and you got a kid on the way, that sort of stuff.
That's true. Fatherhood is imminent. So.
I didn't know that. Congratulations.
Oh yeah. Coming this October.
Wow.
Got a baby boy on the way.
Aw.
Nice.
So you couldn't tell because he wore dad shirts before.
Yeah.
Yeah. See, I've just been I've been blending in for years now.
I also only see like the top up, so I can't see like a pregnancy bump or anything. So
It's there. It's filling up nicely. Yeah. So anyway, I apologize for that, and that's it. I don't know.
Can I apologize for something or like our guests?
Sure. This is entirely unprecedented. We don't usually get apologies from the guests, but go ahead.
I like to apologize to one of my former friends back in middle school who I've tried to invite to church several times. I did not realize that that would probably be very awkward. And I would also like to apologize to all the mothers of America. And the mothers of invention, George Carlin, and Lil Nas X for making fun of that Nitro Pepsi commercial.
Just so you know, when I edit this, I'm going to have just some really stentorian marching music playing in the background.
Oh yes.
If I
just
may,
very stately.
I would also, if I may, like to apologize for something.
Two guest apologies in one. This is go ahead.
I mean, look, with that amazing intro.
I guess we're breaking all kinds of taboos today.
Hey, this is the Christian episode, okay? We're confessing. This is the confessional.
I'm feeling all of my former Christian guilt, and I need to get this out. I want to apologize to every podcast, including Jukebox Zeros, for listening at 2 times speed. So every time I listen, it sounds like, truthfully, you've all just taken a bump of Coke. And now that I'm here and I'm sitting here, I'm like, I need to keep up. Oh, no, I need to dial it back, in fact.
Oh, that's very good. You know what's fun to do, too, is listen to this podcast on half speed. Ooh. So it just sounds like we're jammed out on heroin the whole time. We're like, yeah, so the thing about...
when I was doing transcription for a little while, that is how I would listen so that I could keep up. And it was just like these... I was doing transcription for a very professional thing all about publishing, and it just sounded like they were all drunk.
Yeah.
Talking about representation in publishing is important. And it was, and it was a very good talk, but it was just like,
Yeah, I remember slowing down the playback of that whole famous Homer Simpson quote of Bert, you want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask? Just slowing it down, and just Dan Castellaneta sounds not only drunk, but he says, Bart, you want to see my new chainsaw and hockey mask? He says hacky.
Did you guys ever
hacky.
see that old YouTube clip of someone took an old Apple commercial that had Jeff Goldblum in it talking disjointedly about ordering pizzas and slowed that down? And it was just like, just with the price of one pizza, you get 55 pizzas.
Mary Kate Ashley Olsen, give me pizza slowed down.
Yes, very yes.
Computer over.
Anywho.
So that is what I wanted to apologize for.
Excellent. I mean, I don't blame you for that in the slightest, because I feel like that's really one of the only ways to make Pat and I sound remotely like people.
You know, it takes a while for me to get my thoughts out. Okay, it's not my fault. Okay,
What?
it's weed's fault. What
Speed
are we doing
weed.
today? We're doing the religion.
Yeah, should we get into it? I think we should get into it.
Yeah.
Okay. At rock music's inception in the 1950s and its rise to mainstream dominance throughout the 1960s, Christianity has had a rough relationship with the classically American genre of music. Rock music was long seen as an avenue of counterculture and beliefs and values considered anathema to the famed monotheistic religion of note. But as the 60s became the 1970s and members of the boomer generation gradually turned from freewheeling hippies into the majority class, more and more rock artists began toying with applying Christian themes to their music as a means of spreading Christianity's teachings. These were made possible through the efforts of early adopters of rock music and the Christian faith, such as Larry Norman, Randy Stonehill, and Mylon Lefebvre, as well as mainstream artists gradually dipping their toes, such as Bob Dylan, Arlo Guthrie, and the aforementioned Elvis Presley, who all released various Christian records over the course of their careers. Side note,
Anybody seen that new Elvis movie? Tom Hanks in a fat suit. Tom Hanks in a fat suit.
Yeah. I mean, it's a Baz Luhrmann movie, so I feel like I'm eventually going to watch it, but at the same time, I have no interest.
Yeah,
Just
see,
remember,
Baz
there's a
Luhrmann
scene.
is the reason why I don't plan on watching it. But sorry, Shane, continue.
Yeah, there's a scene where Tom Hanks in a fat suit just says like 30 times in a row, "This is a little Santa Claus song. This ain't the Santa Claus song. Why is he not singing the frickin' Santa Claus song?"
Oh yeah, he plays a Dutch person, right?
Colonel Tom Parker.
Oh, okay. I don't know.
Yeah,
if he's
Colonel
Dutch.
Tom Parker. A lot of people forget that Colonel Kampf. God damn it.
Turtle Ham.
Colonel Khan.
Uh-huh.
As I was saying,
Colonel Tom Parker is Dutch. I didn't know that.
I didn't know that either, actually. I just knew that Tom Hanks was playing a Dutch person, and it's weird from what I hear.
in the 1990s and aughts, both formative decades for many listeners of this podcast, we imagine, there also came a major explosion of Christian acts through the alternative rock scene and metal scenes, via the mainstream success of acts like P.O.D, Relient K, Creed, Underoath, DC Talk, and many more. We got Shane showing off his bona fides with his Relient K shirt.
Pride
Sorry, go
themed. It's pride themed because they let a non-binary artist open up for them. Also, Relient K is now for trans rights.
You know what? Great. I'm very
Good on Relient
yeah.
K.
Like okay, because this is a thing, and I know that we'll get into a lot more deeper discussions. But I feel like a lot of, and again, I'm saying this as a former Christian, but a lot of Christian, what do you call that word? Stereotype is that it's very like anti-queer, et cetera, and there is a lot of very like open, actually listening to the teachings of fucking Jesus, where it's like, oh yeah, no, these people are cool. Might not be for me, but these people are cool.
Yep, definitely. Queer Christian right here.
Anyway, via the success of acts like these, a genre of music that was previously seen as blasphemous had become an effective tool for evangelizing, though many old guard Christians have directly blamed the rise of mainstream Christian music for rapidly declining church membership and increased secularism among its ranks. All that aside, however, one thing we can all agree on here and today is that for many of us, filthy, unemployable, music-obsessed doofuses that we are, Christian rock was an inescapable part of many a childhood, and one that so many of us still just barely understood unless you continued to fully buy into the genre's eponymous religion into your adulthood. And as with our New Metal Roundup episode, we hope not only to spur some goofy discussions, but possibly even exorcise some long-dormant demons. This is the Christian Rock Roundup on Jukebox Zeros, the podcast you're listening to right now. That
Is
one.
this where the ad? Is this where the ad starts?
Ba-da-da.
Da-da.
So before we get into, like, this is going to follow a similar format to our previous Roundup episodes, where it's all just going to be very loose, very freewheeling, very free-flowing, while we just have a handful of random Christian rock songs that we're just going to listen to and just randomly sort of prattle on about. But before we get into that, there's a very specific reason why we had these two particular guests on today, and that's for their experience with Christian rock music, because I think Pat and I will both admit fully up front we are not particularly well versed in it. So either of you want to go into detail about your experiences with Christian rock before we start getting into the tracks?
Oh yeah.
Oh, Shane is raising his hand.
Yeah, just discovered it on the short bus. I can call it that. I am autistic. I am neurodivergent, so I can call it the short bus. I discovered it in 3rd grade when my bus driver played a DC Talk Greatest Hits CD. I was like, what is this? This sounds so good. And I decided to listen to it. And about 5th or 6th grade, I discovered Whiteheart. I discovered Relient K. I discovered even more DC Talk, OC Supertones. I even discovered the ultimate cultural appropriation band, Christafari. And then I went to youth group, and that was maybe, I don't know. I don't know if I can call it a mistake, but I discovered a lot of bands there. And in college, I decided just to look up, okay, what's the best Christian music I like on the internet? And I got a whole bunch of recommendations that led me to Starflyer 59 and Daniel Amos.
So on top of, like, the music, like, would you say that Christianity in general was just a large part of your life for a fairly good chunk of it?
Mostly for my childhood, and that's because of the influence of my grandparents. My grandmother is very religious, and she's always insisted on taking my brother, my sister, and I to church.
That would do it.
Yeah, but, like, growing up, like, with my mom and dad, we never really went to church, not even, like, in the Christmas and Easter sense. It wasn't until I started living with my grandparents that we actually went to church. And I was raised in a Southern Baptist convention, so, like, I got to experience the super conservative version of it. I got to hear
Fire and Brimstone, yeah.
Well, not really Fire and Brimstone, because that's actually some interesting preaching going on. You've ever read Sinners in the Hands of an Angry God? I was hearing preachers. I was hearing preachers old dudes from Shreveport talk about, "Oh, we didn't come from monkeys," and guys from Texas talking about people whining, crying to them about how their kid's gay, and it's like, oh, Obama supports gay marriage. That's bad. And I had to deal with my youth pastor probably getting fired from the church, and I don't really know what happened to him outside of the fact that he pastors a church in Atlanta now. But one of my closest friends used to run Scufflaw Brewing. He used to be the vault master there. Parker Williams. Yeah, shout out to Parker if Parker ever listens to music-related podcast hosted by...
Parker Williams, if you're listening, come on the podcast and review Love Beach with us.
Oh yeah, and Sarah Funk as well.
Oh yeah, but specifically those two people come on to review Love Beach. That specific pairing.
Only those two will do.
At last. Let's schedule it and get it in the
Right.
house.
But, like, in retrospect, I'm surprised that, like, when we came up with this idea, I didn't immediately, like, go to you first, because, like, we've been friends on Facebook for a bit, and I've known you to be a person of very interesting musical opinions, the kind where you can just go from, like, something, like, about just, like, no-wave music or outsider music like Daniel Johnston or something like that, and then immediately in the same breath be like, also Five Iron Frenzy. And I just thought it was a very interesting contrast.
Well, I view both secular music and Christian music to be one and the same. I mean, you have George Harrison crossing over with 3 different kinds of music with All Things Must Pass. So I figured, well, why not just regard Five Iron Frenzy's best albums as alongside the same level as something like Pet Sounds or Trout Mash Replica or Love Beach.
Of course, yeah.
Yes, that famed music of legend, Love Beach.
That's a Christian rock album.
Oh,
at
yes.
at the local bookstore, there's like 5 copies of it.
They're talking about Christ love on a beach. I understand this. Yeah. Uh-huh.
Yeah, I guess that's how you can describe what Greg Lake looks like on that album cover.
So that's what we got for Shane. Why don't you get into like some of your bona fides, Ashley?
Absolutely. So, growing up as a white, assigned male at birth, Irish person in New England, of course my parents were Catholic. Then, when I was very young, they actually went to, I think it was like, I don't know the Catholic things because I wasn't raised Catholic. I was supposed to go into the church alone as like a toddler, and my mom was like, "What? No. Like, what do you mean I can't come with you? Like, what do you mean I can't accompany my child?" So, like, my child is just supposed to find this room on her own. So they
Divine
became
intervention.
Yeah. Like, I don't know what it was. I don't understand. If you're Catholic and you had to go through this out there, let me know what was experienced. But after that, they became Protestant. And so I was very much like, we weren't every Sunday, but it was like, we should probably get in once a month or so. Just to get the God in, and so for me it was very we were a Christian household, but it wasn't overly so. It wasn't too much. It was just sort of every now and again. Then when I started coming into myself in about middle school, high school, I started listening to Type O Negative, and the song "Christian Woman" scared the shit out of me. I was just like, I didn't really read the lyrics. I was never really good about reading lyrics. So I was just like, oh no, I'm going to go to hell. Oh God. And so I went through a crisis.
I mean, I'm sure it doesn't help that Pete Steele sounds like tectonic plates moving.
It's true.
Yeah, right.
But so
Ashley, you must come back to me.
So I said this to my friend who also listened to Type O, and I was just like, I don't know, man. I feel like this is a thing, and I feel like it's telling me I'm going to hell, and I feel like the song is about me. And he's like, you want to fuck Jesus? I was like, what, is that what this is about? He was like, yeah, it's about a woman who wants to fuck Jesus. I was like,
Oh, nice South Park episode.
it's just like, oh, yeah, I guess that's not me. But I definitely went through my hellfire and brimstone. Oh God, everything's bad.
Then you went.
Good.
Then you went. Well, I wasn't before.
Hadn't crossed my mind, but he does have a swimmer's body. Shout out to Hamlet.
He has a
too.
swimmer's body, even though he's never been in the water.
He can't. He can't access the water.
He literally can't.
That's
What are
a
you
thing no
talking
one
about?
talks about.
He lives on Love Beach. What are you talking about, guys?
Well, he's gonna make
Yeah.
love to you on Love Beach.
Yeah,
He
on
lives
top of the
Love
water.
Beach with Greg Leg and all. Greg Leg. Greg Lake and all the other friends.
Yeah, all right,
Greg
Greg Leg. So that was some of the most formative parts of my own growing up and understanding Christianity. There was a dude when I was working at Marshall's that just always showed up and wanted to talk about Christian rock. And so I would just talk to him about random stuff. He'd recommend a couple of things, and I checked them out. It's how I learned about Solid State. It's how I learned about living, like Solid State Records. It's how I learned about living sacrifice.
This was just like a random customer who would come in.
Yeah, just some
and
random creepy dude. And it was just like, I was just like, all right, I
Oh,
got nothing to do. I'm getting
fine.
paid for this conversation. Why not? Talk to me about Jesus rock. And I ended up really liking Living Sacrifice and Savior Machine and Demon Hunter. So it's one of those things where I got something out of it, and I was like, all right, I can still listen to this like music that I like without feeling like I'm gonna go to hell. And then I came out as trans, and I was just like, I don't fucking care anymore. I'm fine. If I'm gonna go to hell, I'll go to hell with all the people I love. So,
Right on.
Yeah, good.
yeah, but like later in life, I really wanted to learn more about queer people, trans people that have embraced religion, whether it's Christianity or not. And through that, I learned about Judson Memorial Church. Through that, I learned a lot from another theater artist named Shakina Nafok, who basically they've all figured out ways to invite religion, invite God, invite the love that one can experience through a truly religious experience and still be queer and still be trans and still be embracing of, like I say, that idea of the actual teachings of loving those around you.
Right.
Well, I'm all for that. Like, I definitely remember being like a snotty atheist in my younger years, but now I'm just sort of at a point where it's just like, yeah, don't be an asshole.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah,
Don't be an asshole to people.
I had an atheist period for a couple of years in college, and then I watched Bill Maher's Religulous, and I'm like, okay, that's it. I'm going back to the church.
I love how Bill Maher pushed you back to the church. Because fuck that guy.
Well, it's like him and Ricky Gervais. I think you made a comment on this, Shane, once. It was like him and Ricky Gervais are going to be responsible for like the next generation reverting back to Christianity because they're just such dickhead atheists. But like,
Richard Dawkins has also been responsible for that. Remember when he made that really bad tweet about how TSA made him throw out his jar of honey, and he blamed it on Islam?
Ugh. That very much sounds like a Richard Dawkins. Like a lot of people in that whole new atheist movement have all just kind of turned out to be humongous pieces of shit. Mm-hmm. Like save for PZ Myers, they've all just turned out to be the hugest assholes.
Sam Harris, Christopher Hitchens. I got like turned off really bad by Christopher Hitchens in 2011. I'm like, okay, I don't want to read any more of that book of his. That's just not good. That's about as hateful as Ergen Connor's stuff. And Ergen Connor's a really bad Christian apologist. He got he cut his teeth pretending that he used to be like in Islam. He's like, I was trained to be a terrorist. I was born in Turkey, but no, he was born in like Denmark, moved to America when he was like 2.
But yeah, on the subject of like the brief atheist thing, I remember like just being vehemently like more specifically anti-Christian and just not allowing myself. But I mean, at that same time, I was also going through like a really annoying pitchfork hipster phase. So, like, in addition to like refusing to accept any good things that religion has done for the world, I was also in a state of like also just like, no, I only want to listen to Interpol. So I'm sure like, you know, when I used to be really big into like P.O.D. and all those sort of bands, when I was in the nu metal phase, as soon as like nu metal stopped being cool and like, well, that they're Christian on top of it, it's like, oh, well, fuck that, guys. Although honestly, I probably am not missing much by not going back to P.O.D.
Oh, real talk, I consider Ween to be Christian rock. Like, I know that
Really?
they're technically not, but to me, any good music is Christian rock. Any good music.
What?
Beach Boys is Christian rock. Aerosmith is Christian rock.
This is an interest. Okay, I would disagree with you on Aerosmith.
Matchbox 20 is satanic because they and not the good kind of satanic either.
Wait. I really need to go down this path. Matchbox 20 is satanic. Continue.
It's not the good satanic, not like Coven, not like Jinx Dawson, not like.
We're not talking like Ghost. We're talking like.
I think I understand what you mean a little more now. They're like things that bands that ultimately exist to bring evil to the world by making it more by making it more mediocre.
Oh, definitely.
By that same token, I would consider like Plain White Tees to be a satanic band.
So Puddle of Mud, are we thinking satanic or just stupid?
Did you hear their cover of About a Girl?
I did. It's bringing all sorts of terrible
10 out of 10.
to this world.
They're Unitarian. They're kind of chaotic neutral.
I cannot wait for this to make the funny moments page on TV Tropes.
So with that said, should we maybe start? Oh, did you want to throw in something, Pat?
Not really, because I was raised Protestant. I know. But it's funny. I don't think that like religion, the church, so much was important. I feel like I was actually confirmed to my Protestant church in 8th grade, but it was something I had to do for Boy Scouts. So I think it was actually the Boy Scouts thing was more important than religion, because my dad was like the scoutmaster of our local troop. So I can't say I had like a lot of like kind of crises of spirituality per se, other than like maybe, you know, later on in my 20s when, you know, working at Whole Foods for however many years and being like, this is awful, what the fuck am I doing with my life?
But just God would allow the existence of Whole Foods?
Like seriously. And the meat department in particular.
Oh yeah.
But like I don't know, I've I kind of have an interesting view on religion, spirituality, per se. I think spirituality is one of those things that just like exists chemically in the human mind. So like whether we affix it to religion or just something else that we love, say music or something like that, there's just always something that's like a higher power in your mind, a sort of unexplainable thing. So like I of course I don't blame people for
something that's like transcendent,
exactly. And because of that, like I get why religion is important. I get why spirituality is important.
As above, so below.
Exactly. And I think the problems with like conservative Christianity and the problems with new atheism are more rooted in white supremacy and racism than anything else per se. It's kind of one of those
amen
things that like has deeper roots than you'd think, and like they more or less kind of use religion as a way to manipulate more people, but it's also like it's in a lot of people of color communities, it's like kind of their one salvation. In a lot of poor communities, it's their one thing in town, and you want to hope that those people are at the church are doing them right, but they don't always do. It's it's complicated, I guess.
Yeah.
So let's make fun of some Christian rock bands.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Dorks.
So for this episode, each of us picked 2 different Christian rock songs that we picked out, and we're just gonna roundtable, just randomly talk about them. We don't have any notes or anything like that, so I have no idea where the conversation is going to go. What we're going by Christian rock is like just a general definition of like this is a band that has at one point been classified as a Christian rock band. We're not getting into like really like deep in the paint sort of like discussion of like, is U2 technically a Christian band because they always have those songs about God sort of thing? No, these are like no mistaking, these are Christian rock bands.
Like festival Christian rock bands and such.
Oh, yes, totally. So should we get into it? Does anyone want to go first, introducing a track, or...
Sure.
One of the guests can go, sure.
Sure. I will go. Let's, to start everything off.
Lead us off, Ashley.
All right, to start everything off, I would love to talk about Savior Machine.
Okay, here's the track that Ashley sent for us, Carnival of Souls by Savior Machine. Speaking of Peter Steele,
I was going to say,
just talking about him a
typo.
second ago. Savior Machine, an American Christian Gothic metal band formed in 1989, which really is a combination that you don't hear so much about. Like Christian metal, sure. Christian Gothic metal, that's... Now we're getting into niche territory.
Oh, it's interesting. Pretty interesting.
So I unabashedly love Savior Machine, but I have to say I unabashedly love Savior Machine's album, Savior Machine 1. The rest of it is kind of back and forth, but that album, that first album they put out, is, in my opinion, spectacular, but also hilarious religious camp. They basically, it almost sounds to me like they were like, hey, we really like the Sisters of Mercy, but like, what if also God?
I mean, I guess. I don't know if it's like quite a smooth transition there, considering how many just really raunchy songs the Sisters of Mercy put out.
It's like, we really want to
about like
listen to
fucking
Sisters
on
of
gravestones and stuff.
When I was listening to that little snippet, I was thinking, this kind of sounds like early '90s Dream Theater mixed with Kerry Livgren's bands AD and Protocol. I'm like that sort of kind of over. Like I don't want like that sort of like local studio produced sort of song, but no, there was a little something going on for it that actually makes it pretty interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was like, all right, guys, we got the drums that sound like they're like in a pool somewhere in the middle of God knows where, and we got like the chorus guitars and we got the mopey vocals. But why all the negativity? Why we got to sing about
our
sadness?
Our bassist booked some time over at the local jam spot to record his tracks at.
Yeah,
He got a discount because he's treating the guy who owns it to Bennigan's later.
You ever listen to Cure's Pornography? That thing sounds like it was recorded in a locker room at the YMCA.
Yeah, right.
But yeah, Savior Machine is just one of those bands that I find incredibly fun. I feel like, truthfully, if you put on Carnival of Souls, if you were DJing a goth set, I'm not saying anyone here does, Lils, but if you put that on in the middle of your set, some people would be like, wait a second, what? But also, I feel like people would be into it.
I mean, you may be right. I personally would not play that. Not even because of like the Christian thing. I'm just not a huge fan of like goth rock specifically. It just all sounds the same to me. I'm more a fan of the electronic side of things.
That's fine.
I don't know. The
you.
Cult sounds a lot different after like starting with electric. Or
That's
would you count that as gothic?
I
Electric and
mean,
Sonic
even
Temple.
when they were in their goth period, they still sounded like a friggin' glam band.
That's true.
It's true.
Yeah,
So your mileage may vary.
Speaking of bands that I probably should not call glam, I'm gonna officially come out and say it. The Beatles are glam.
Wow.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
Interesting take.
no, that one tracks. I mean, they were 100% influence on like every glam act, Mark Bolan, David Bowie, etc.
What about Gary Glitter?
Speaking of David Bowie, Savior Machine get their name from a David Bowie song off of The Man Who Sold the World.
Oh wow.
Yeah.
Oh wow. These guys played whackin' open air too.
Yep.
I wouldn't have expected them to even host Christian metal acts.
Yeah, they're one of those ones that kind of is an outlier. It's weird. It's different. It truthfully sounds like a lot of everything and also very different all at once. They put out a series of 3 albums. It was going to be 4 albums based on the Book of Revelations called... Oh, fuck, I forgot what it's called. No, it's not Legion. It's not called... Oh, fuck, I forgot what it's called. I'm going to pull up the thing. But they put out a series of 3 albums, and it almost destroyed... Legend, that was it. Legend 1, 2, 3-1, and they were planning on releasing 3-2, but they never did because it pretty much destroyed the band, and they were forced to split it up into 2 separate albums. And the way Eric Carlisle, the way the singer
Eric Clayton,
that's it. I was thinking of the Very Hungry Caterpillar Man, Eric Carl. Very different. Anyway.
he saw a leaf.
I just noticed.
Still hungry.
I just noticed that their record label is for Savior Machine 1 is called Intense.
Yep.
Yeah, that's some pretty intense music right there.
Yeah. Like if you heard that and you're just like, okay, this seems interesting, I highly recommend listening to Savior Machine 1, Carnival of Souls, Legion, or the super over the top and campiest of all their tracks, Jesus Christ, where I believe the chorus is, Jesus Christ, vengeance is mine. Oh, Jesus Christ, why would you leave me behind?
Oh my God, Danzig's singing Christian metal. Now I want that.
See, Jesus Christ is like one of my favorite expletives, so I just hear that it's like Dad's pissed. Jesus Christ.
Oh, one of my favorite Velvet Underground songs too.
But yeah, so that's Savior Machine. Highly recommend. They're truthfully, like, even if it's just for an odd curio, just something new, definitely check them out.
Savior Machine 1, the album you mentioned, I'm looking at its Wikipedia page. That's looking to be like the one like most associated with the band. Seems to have like the highest score, 10 out of 10 from the German magazine Rock Hard, and a 9 out of 10 from the British Christian music magazine Cross Rhythms.
Yeah, it's
So yeah. And HM Magazine, another Christian music publication, ranked it number 72 on the top 100 Christian metal albums of all time list.
Oh my God, it's actually highlighted on RYM. It's in the top 6,000 albums of all time.
Wow, that 6,000.
I mean, that's a large number, but at the same time, the amount of material that's probably out there is like...
How do you keep people interested at that point? Like, I would think 1,000 would be like that's the cutoff point. But then you have all those books that are like 1,001 albums to listen to before you die. It's like you're out of your mind.
I don't know, considering that there's 6 billion people on the planet and everybody has an album within them. I believe that there probably are 6 billion albums out there.
Oh, I'm sure, but I'm just thinking about how much work would go into a top 6,000 list.
I mean,
Oh, it's
imagine
actually
6001.
it's actually more like a top.
Whoa.
It's more like a top 10,000 on RYM right now. They've been.
What?
Oh my god.
RYM, what are you doing?
We just don't want to remove people from the list, so we just keep adding, and it's just don't worry about it. Like, we shuffle it around a little bit. Every now and then, you'd be surprised. You got to read the whole thing to find out if your favorite is still 5,487th.
Well, they should probably remove the Beatles and Black Midi from the list. They're probably the main reason why. Also, probably remove Fish because of all those live shows,
Oh boy.
and Soulja Boy because of all his
counting.
mixtapes.
They're counting Fish live shows. Oh boy.
Oh yeah, they have a
There's
mixtape
like-
section
there's like-
now.
How
There's
is the
no
Soulja Boy
moderation
game
in-
console on this list? I don't understand. That's not even music. It's
There
not
must
even
be,
his
like,
console.
No moderation going on at all.
Who's number one? who's sitting on top of that list?
Number one on mixtapes is Def Grip's Ex Military. Number one on the albums is it's either Revolver or I think like I'm gonna go check really
I
quick.
think I want to say it was like a it was like a jazz trumpeter or something like that, but it was like or something. Yeah, it was something like that. It was, and like the songs were all like social justice themed or something.
No, it's OK Computer is number one.
Oh.
What?
Okay.
Number two is
Sucks.
number two is To Pimp a Butterfly by K. Dot.
Okay.
Good album. Much better than fucking OK Computer.
I don't know. I consider them one and the same. They're pretty good. I like the part where Kendrick interviews Tupac for like 7 minutes, and the part where Tom York says pork sandwich, and then like Johnny Greenwood does the heavy guitar.
Pork chop sandwiches. Got that.
Wake up, Tom York. You're just hungry, okay? You don't need an album about that.
Ice Age coming.
Hungry and depressed.
Yeah.
Like Weber Cooks.
It's true.
So that's Carnival of Souls by Savior Machine. Who wants to go next?
Shane,
wait.
you can go next.
Looks like Shane's raising his hand. Yeah, take us to our next trip down Christian Lane Boulevard.
So there's this presumption in Christian music, all right, that every Christian band has to be kind of very right-wing or at least like conservative to some extent. You see this a lot, especially with how like the Christian community has dealt with a lot of queer artists, and there's plenty of kind of left-leaning Christian bands I can mention. Band on my T-shirt. There's video essayist Grace Slimmer Baldridge, who makes some really excellent folk pop under the name Semler. There's Starflyer 59, but for today I want to go with Five Iron Frenzy, the worst band in the world. Actually, one of the best bands in the world. But let's just call them the worst band in the world because Reese Roper is going to come to my house and knock me around a little if I don't call them the worst band.
Very well then. Here's The Old West by Five Iron Frenzy. Five Iron Frenzy, Christian ska, which, to my surprise, has its own page on Wikipedia.
Oh yeah, that was a big thing. You had bands like the W's, you had bands like Five Iron, you had bands like Insiders who would just take the entire Rich Mullins songbook and just be like, oh, let's just add horns to it. That's good. That's
That was
that's
a joke on The Simpsons, wasn't it? Like, oh, he quit to join a Pentecostal ska band.
Sunseed's technically Christian ska. You know, Jesus is a friend of mine. Yeah. meme song from 2010.
I gotta say, I'm not at all surprised that ska, like Christianity and ska, works together, because it's very upbeat. It's very there's a lot of places that I know ska can go. I'm not a ska listener, as if that's not evident from the songs that I have chosen today. But ska as a style, it makes sense from like a Christian.
I think
that's
there's
sort of
definitely a like a Venn diagram thing happening there too. I actually do remember quite a few kids that like I went to church with when I was younger, growing up, and like getting into the ska scene. It's kind of like, I think it's just like the kind of like positivity. Like you don't think of ska kids like you think about like the goth kids or like the metal kids or anything. They're definitely like the most positive, upbeat of scenes. So like
that makes a lot of sense.
So I could picture like the love of Jesus kind of being thrown through that. Plus you got like, you got horns. It's like a nice sort of like old-timey traditional thing happening there. And I mean, I know that's not why they're a part of ska, of course, but I mean, I'm just riffing here, guys.
Yeah, but read the lyrics to the Old West. They are very fucked up, if I can say that.
Oh, yes. Reading off of Genius.com, the About section reads, Old West comes off of Upbeats and Beatdowns, the first album from FIF. It is about the horrible atrocities committed in the name of God in the history of the U.S., and how people are still using God's names to do awful things.
Oh, there's a lot of Five Iron Frenzy songs are about that sort of issue, the idea that a lot of people will weaponize Christianity to destroy
I feel like
things.
that's kind of commendable based on what, I'm going off of what little I know about Five Iron Frenzy before this, but I think that's commendable considering how much Christian rock music is still very much like, has evangelism in its mind.
They donated to like co-ops. They worked with like various left-wing organizations. Well, not like to the extent that like Rage Against the Machine would work with them, but Five Iron Frenzy was still like super active in left-wing politics. That even their super dated song Fahrenheit, which has that love the sinner, hate the sin sort of crap. That was actually considered really progressive in mainstream Christianity in 2000, because that's how dire things were back then. Yeah. That, just actually accepting queer people as, existing and wanting to live their own life. That, Reese Roper saying, well, I don't necessarily like the gay sex, but, I'm for you. That was considered bold. And Five Iron have written a lot of songs about the way that America has treated Native American people. There's an excellent song off of our newest album ever, their second album, called Banner Year. That's it kind of gives off some slightly Christian-y vibes, but it's actually them chewing out just Manifest Destiny in general in the same way that the Old West does.
Reading off of their Wikipedia page, many of the band's songs are firmly rooted in the social gospel convictions, often exploring themes of Christian hypocrisy and fundamentalism, manifest destiny and the injustices done to Native Americans, and faith-based criticisms on capitalism, consumerism, nationalism, xenophobia, racism, homophobia, and even the Christian music industry, as well as more traditional and uplifting songs of praise and worship.
Oh, yeah, they...
Out of curiosity, because I remember a friend of mine introducing me to a Christian ska band that essentially rejected the Christian label because their Christian record label wouldn't let them put out an album about their real-life struggles with heroin addiction and kind of getting through that. And I'm trying to remember what the name of that band was. It wasn't Five Iron, was it? Was that a different one? They, crowdfunded one of their most recent albums?
Actually, I don't think Five Iron got into heroin addiction, but they've crowdfunded 2 recent albums, and those 2 albums are actually really good. I highly recommend Engine of a Million Plots. The best.
Maybe it wasn't heroin, but it was there was a real deep thing that they wanted to get into, and
The most that I could do to help is list off of the very short list on the list of Christian ska bands page on Wikipedia, and see if any of that
do it.
See, at some point you'll just be making them up, and I will just say, yeah, no, that sounds right. Yeah. Wait a second, Greg Leg, you did that one earlier.
Do you really want me to do that? You really want me to read off the list of Christian ska bands?
Black Sabbath is Christian ska now.
The hot takes you have are fascinating, Shane.
You have no idea how much fun I'm having with this.
So here we have on the list the Deluxe Tone Rockets, Denver and the Mile High Orchestra, the Dingies, Five Iron Frenzy, Flight 180, the Insiders with a Z, the OC Supertones, Sounds Like Chicken, Squad 5-0, and the W's.
I love Sounds Like Chicken. That's a great
That's a good one.
name.
Sounds like that sounds like those procedurally generated titles that Neil Bogart would come up with for whatever session musicians he'd have at Buddha Records, just trying to make that next bubblegum hit. And he'd be like, the Double Bubble Fruit Company, Fruit Gum Box Company, Pepsi Cola Fruit Company Place,
with sugar
Trucking
on top.
Company, Trucking Company, Dance All Hour.
Yum yum bubblegum butter buns with the buffalo.
The Ohio
beef
Express.
major- That just sounds like a TGI Fridays appetizer.
1910 Fruit Gum Company.
Strawberry Alarm Clock.
Oh yeah, I mean that's a real band, but
Was that an industry creation? Because they seemed a little too like hippy dippy for that to be like, oh, we're gonna do this on purpose.
Well, A&M tried to turn Captain Beefheart and the Magic Band into a bubblegum act, and then Captain Beefheart wrote Electricity, and Herb Alpert got really, really mad about it. Because one of his friends was like, oh, it's going to make my daughter be promiscuous and do negative things, and Beefheart's just screaming about cowboys in riding their horses in the electricity. Blah, 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 blah.
I keep forgetting that Herb Alpert is like big record, company owner guy and not just the Tijuana brass guy.
Oh, I found that out in like 6th grade. I was like, why in the world is this the earliest A&M Records thing? Like, why is my Sheryl Crow record on the same label as the Whipped Cream record? And then I checked out this book at the library and I flipped over to Herb Alpert's entry and it's like, Herb Alpert created A&M Records with Jerry Moss.
He sure did.
Whipped Cream, by the way, the album that I have found most in thrift stores in the vinyl section. Like, only tied with Live at Budokan by Steely Dan. I mean, Cheap Trick, god damn it.
They did not do it live.
Wow.
Live at Steely Dan by Cheap Trick.
Well, yeah.
No, they
Cheap
were live in
Dan.
America.
My only real, I only have, 2 major opinions about Five Iron Frenzy, just to close this out, besides what I already mentioned. The first is that the only thing that I really fault them for is spending so much time being buddies with that asshole Doug Tennaple. Because he pretty much,
Oh,
did
they
the
cut
cover
off
up.
ties with... Yeah, they cut off ties
it
with
seems
them.
like they've done that at this point now that Doug Tennaple's turned into a huge, religious fanatic guy.
I don't know Doug
But that's-
Tennipple, but
He
sounds
is
like...
he is the creator of Earthworm Jim.
Oh,
and
fuck that
turned
guy.
into
Scratch.
turned into a huge
Oh,
religious
yeah.
right-wing douchebag.
Get less.
Oh, he
nipples,
was
am I
always
right?
he was always a douchebag, according to a lot of people. But he was like, oh, he wouldn't really broadcast it. That's the main reason why Five Iron was still
Right.
working with him until the 2010s, and then it
And-
just became way too much for them.
The other big major take that I don't have this anymore because I realized how silly it was. My first exposure to Five Iron Frenzy, their song "Ugly Day," was on a compilation album that I got from a magazine that just had a bunch of random alt rock stuff. And I didn't know they were a Christian band. They just sounded this is pretty catchy. And then while listening to a ska playlist on Pandora, a different Five Iron Frenzy song called Rhubarb Pie came up, and it's the exact same song with just the lyrics changed.
Oh, my first
That's not. I'm being completely literal too. If you play them both back to back, it's the exact same instrumentation, the exact same arrangements, the exact same melody. Just the songs are slightly different.
Ugly day, the sun is shining, every cloud's got a silver lining. Ugly day,
Oh, my first Five Iron Frenzy song was a song called Pootermobile. It's like 7 seconds. It goes da 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 da. Pootermobile. That's what it is. That's all it is.
Sometimes you just got to keep it simple, okay?
And
But like, I
Internet.
remember thinking that this was like some grand conspiracy of laziness. That like they put out the same song
Even
twice.
beyond Nickelback
How-
levels.
How is it anyone? How is everyone okay with this? And then so many years later, I learned Rhubarb Pie was a demo that eventually turned into Ugly Days. It was like, oh,
Well, fuck me, I guess.
Shane showing
you
off
were
his whipped cream
so
vinyl.
you were mentioning whipped cream.
Yep. You will find that at so many thrift stores.
Oh, my grandparents had this. This was the one record I could save from their collection before they threw it all out. They had a whole bunch of Kingston Trio, Prince, Def Leppard. I mean, they
Wow.
probably had like Pyromania somewhere. Probably
Wow.
had Dirty Mind by Prince, but but most of that was like my mom's collection because my grandparents are not gonna be caught dead listening to Dirty Mind. Like especially like Dirty Mind era Prince.
Oh yeah, it's a dirty ass album.
Yeah, Prince's punk rock album where he talks about sex a lot. Like, that's all he does.
Sex with his sister too.
Sex with his car. No, wait, that's 1999.
Yeah, sorry, that's the next one.
That's a UGK song.
No. Conspiracy was actually between Dirty Mind and 1999.
It was, yeah, you're right.
Anywho, once we
Anyway,
move on, let's move on to the next song. I'm actually going to jump in here with one of my picks because those last two songs, I feel like if you weren't firmly aware that these were Christian bands, I feel like, you know, you could just be like, these are just some interesting songs. This first song that I picked is absolutely not interesting in the slightest. And there's no mistaking this as anything but a song about Christianity. Here's Honestly by American Christian metal band Stryper.
Oh boy.
For those who only have the audio, Shane has grabbed a box of extra toasty Cheez-Its and is smashing it against his face.
That's really
I would
the
say
only,
rightly so.
only course of action that's appropriate.
So, Stryper are friends of professional wrestler and heavy metal singer Chris Jericho, the Wizard
Really?
Chris Jericho. Don't ask me where my wife was on January 6th, Chris Jericho. And he's had them on the show, like he's had them on his podcast, and Stryper is fascinating but also boring. Like there's this, it's weird because it's like, okay, particularly musically, I just bring that up because I love talking about wrestling, but with Stryper, in particular, honestly, this is absolutely we want to do a song in the style of what's popular in the time, but we don't want to try. And it's just, it fits for the time, but I've immediately forgotten it.
Oh, it sounds like all those local singers that would like pop up at our church. They just put their mixtape into the stereo and start singing gospel songs. Sometimes you'd actually hear. Sometimes they'd open up with like a sample from Blazing Saddles, or they'd open up with a sample from like I don't know, like Get Out or Everything Everywhere All at Once. You know, they open up with
Really?
and then they just start singing, "Oh Jesus, how I love you," and you just hear soaring metal guitars, and it's like, wow, this is
And the most 80s
not
keyboard
good.
that you'll ever hear in a song ever.
Yeah, this is not good. Yeah, well, just that Yamaha DX7.
Yes,
So
this is one of the most Yamaha DX songs I've ever heard.
Now, I put on the music video in the background as well. I didn't really watch it too much. I just kind of jumped in and out.
No.
Oh, yeah. No, it like, you know, they looked the part, but for some reason, the lead singer was just constantly getting into a car with a suitcase and leaving. And I'm pretty sure a lot of it is like, I'm pretty sure it's the music video of like, oh, I'm on the road so much. I'm so sorry. I want to show you I love you. But it just looked like he just kept driving places and being left outside of a house.
What was he doing? What was he doing? Trying to return trying to fly over to heaven just so he can make love to Jesus?
Yeah, he was trying to drive to heaven.
Yeah,
Yeah,
he's doing a Pete Steele. He wants to bang.
So, what vintage is this? Is this like like 88, 89, something around
I think
there?
like 86.
Oh, 86. Okay, even older than that.
Sounds about right. Yeah.
Yeah, that's like the time Stryper was like really big and
No, that sounds about right for glam metal too.
did Stryper used to throw Bibles in the into the audience, just like
that's dangerous.
Sounds painful. Yeah.
I think they might have been those little soft Bibles that they hand out like a trick or treat,
Inflatable Bibles.
like a
Like
Halloween.
little koosh Bibles.
Wacky waving arm inflatable tube Bible.
Oh, nice! Bibles made out of creepy crawlies.
Michael
and,
Sweet up on stage doing the Rosie O'Donnell thing, just shooting koosh Bibles into the audience.
You get a Bible. Yeah, you get a Bible. Everybody gets a Bible.
Yeah, the Bible canons didn't go so well.
And it's just all the it's all just the lead managers of hotels.
See, that's always been the problem with Stryper shows is just all the Bible-based concussions.
Yeah.
Nobody
It's like
did,
a
they didn't do
Gideon's
any
Bible to the
research on
head.
it at the time. There was no research then, and that's why they've been able to survive.
You could do some real damage with like a gun that shoots Bibles.
I cannot wait for Michael Sweet and Oz Fox to listen to this and be like, I do not like this. Everybody is bad. This podcast is doo doo. And they just start they just start eating the mashed potatoes out of Jim Baker's food bucket. That just start vomiting it up. And it's like, just like restaurant quality. Hit it, boys. And then that song plays.
I will say, admittedly, the lead singer, and I can't remember his name, but the lead singer of Stryper, his wife... Michael Sweet, his wife has a nonprofit where the intention is to, quote-unquote, save people from sex work, which, truthfully, for people that are forced into sex work, I think that that's great. I think that there is that stigma that all sex work is done without the consent of the person doing the sex work, and that's some bullshit, but... I do think that particularly for people that are forced into sex work, for people that are in that situation because they have to be, not because they want to be, I think that an organization like that is great. But it's one of those things where, like, again, I feel like it can be very short-sighted, and again, from a lot of that lens, it tends to be all sex work is non-consensual, and that's not at all a truth.
Yeah,
No, absolutely
it's
not.
more
Yeah,
complicated than that, of course.
Yeah. Yeah.
And yeah, when it's coming from like the Christian moralist angle, it can get hairy.
I
very
have
easily.
friends who are into sex work, and they've actually gotten into it voluntarily. So to claim that somebody forced me into doing this, it's like that's kind of reductive. But at the same time, it's like that's one of those things.
That's
It's like you
leaving
don't
no
know
room for gray
what-
areas.
Yeah, you don't know what kind of like that. Like it leaves those ministries just in these kind of like I don't know what to decide on them, and that makes me think. Well, now Stryper is the Chick-fil-A of music. eat better trash chicken.
Yeah, for sure.
Yes.
There's so much better.
Stryper stand for something? Is it an acronym or something?
Satan tries really, yeah.
Wrong.
Ruh-roh.
Origin of name. I have it on Wikipedia here. The name Stryper derives from the King James version of the Bible. Oh boy.
Great.
It's not Rut-row, it's Rumpus. Rumpus.
Oh, geez, you are gonna roll your eyes at this. It derives from the verse, "But he was wounded for our transgressions, he was bruised for our iniquities. The chastisement of our peace was upon him, and his stripes we are healed." The reference is frequently included as part of their logo. Stryper's drummer Robert Sweet also created a backronym for their name: Salvation through redemption, yielding peace, encouragement, and righteousness.
I like mine better.
That's
Nothing about Jesus or Christ. There's no J or C in their name.
by the way, that's stripier. if you include the and.
Strippy-yay.
See, it's kind of like, well, I have two orange tabby cats. Gunter is stripier though than Gus.
So are you telling me that Stryper's gimmick if they wanted to actually be biblically accurate, they should actually be on stage naked, their skin torn, and then just bleeding. That would probably be the most metal thing in the world. Why in the world did they not do that?
I guess because they would rather just be like, look, I'm a bee.
Like they just perform mortification of the flesh and like genuflecting and flaying their skin on stage. Like that would be fucking so sick.
Oh man, I know what's more hardcore than a G.G. Allen show. Striper.
Striper just like whipping themselves with cat o' nine tails for 45 minutes, bleeding and trying to play these songs through all of this.
Oh my god! It reminds me of the time that I went to a Catholic church for a college assignment, and I was waiting until like the end of the communion to take my communion wafer. And like a student walks up to me and is like, "Why haven't you eaten Jesus yet?" I hope that student is listening to that podcast. I hope everybody that was at that church at that specific day is listening to this podcast, because I like to say, y'all guys don't like autistic people. Just call me the R slur. Just do it. Do it to my face.
So
I'll beat you in CS:GO. Like Longmont Potion Castle.
So just to close out the talk on this one, as I mentioned at the top, I do not have major experience with Christian music, so I pretty much just picked this because that was literally the first Christian band I could think of. And I went into it thinking, like, Christian glam metal, how are they going to do this? And it ended up sounding like, oh, this is the example of what you think of when you think of bombastic, bloviating Christian music.
Like, and I say this just real quick. I say this because there are a number of Christian acts that I do still like and that I do still listen to, but it's so tough because when you get that Christian music label, so much of it feels like, from a lot of the bands, there's another style that's doing this already, but we can't listen to it. So let's have something. And so the outsider, the people that can listen to Slayer, that's not who Striper is, but like who can listen to that, we're like, why would we listen to this when we could just listen to Slayer?
And they're not allowed to listen to Slayer, so how do they even know what it sounds like?
Right.
How would they possibly know how to make these genres sound good if they're not allowed to listen to them?
I mean,
I can't
an
wait.
idea.
I want to see like a kid that was just like raised on Striper, and as soon as they turn 18, they just pop on Metallica's Master of Puppets, thinking, "Oh yeah, this is gonna sound exactly
I understand
like
what
Striper."
metal is.
And then they hear James Hetfield scream about heroin and pussy.
Yeah. I am the table. All right, Patrick, you have something, I imagine.
Yeah.
to say.
You want to
do.
throw something into the discussion with one of your picks, Pat?
Yeah, so I had a couple picks for Christian rock. Like I said, I'm terribly unfamiliar with the genre as a whole. So I kind of went with the ones I was most familiar with, the most kind of like crossover artists. Because they should probably be mentioned. We're doing a lot of deep cuts here, but, I'm assuming if someone out there is a like Christian rock nerd, like not necessarily a Christian rock, like they're not necessarily religious or Christians, but they're just like nerds for the genre. They might want to, know that we've considered the ones that have kind of crossed over a bit. So the song that I picked is "Flood" by Jars of Clay.
Oh yeah, great song. One of my favorite songs of all time.
Here we have "Flood" by Jars of Clay.
I can't swim after 40 days and my mind is crushed by the crashing waves that be up so high that I cannot fall and be alone. Lift me up when I'm falling.
Yeah, when I saw that was one of your picks in our chat, like I completely forgot. Oh yeah, that's technically a Christian band.
Yeah, so I'm familiar with these guys because I get the name mixed up with Jar of Flies, which is an Alice in Chains EP from actually kind of around the same time, 1993. But yeah, no, this is a band, a Christian rock band. And yeah, this song came out in like 1995. It's very post-grungy, very sort of like typical like 90s alternative music.
Reminds me a lot of Toad the Wet Sprocket.
Yeah.
Big time like that.
Yeah,
sort of
definitely big vibes of like, you know, one of those also ran post-grunge era acts like Seven Mary 3 or something like that,
Yeah.
or Sister Hazel.
Like,
Yeah.
like that time where everybody did the grunge and then they were like, okay, we need to do something that's like a little softer but not completely outside of this. And
Oh, like
Something
Tonic.
Something
like
for
Tonic.
the River crowd.
Yeah.
Oh, Tonic is a good one. Yeah, there we go. I always forget about
Oh,
that.
I
Or
listened
the
to
Verve
Lemon
Pipe.
Parade Yeah, I listened to Lemon Parade recently. That was a great album.
Yeah, this one considered to be their breakthrough song due to airplay on both contemporary Christian music and alternative rock radio station. Remained in the Billboard 200 for an entire 52-year cycle. Week.
Wow.
Like 52 week
52
cycle,
years,
not
wow.
not 52 years.
And this is one of those songs that is fine. I can definitely tell like it's good. Like I can tell that it's actually a pretty good song. It's a song that if I heard it at the dentist, I would be like, yeah, okay, I remember this song. It's no Savior Machine, but
Jars of Clay actually get so much better down the line.
Yeah?
Their next album, Much Afraid, is legitimately art rock. Like, it's somebody finally made the album that I wanted when I was a kid. Like, post-grunge, art rock, alternative rock. It's like, kind of like, what if Matchbox 20 was actually good?
and not Satan.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And and not just that, but Dan Haseltine actually knows how to write about religion. He knows how to write about it in a much more subtle manner. And also, if anybody knows any history about Jars of Clay, we all know that Jars of Clay actually supports queer rights.
Oh, I didn't. I'll stop
Nice.
making fun of them as much.
Wow.
I'll still do
Here's-
it, but like, you know, like, cool, okay, yeah.
Here's a crazy fact. Guess who produced this album? So this is from Jars of Clay's debut album.
Devin Townsend?
Adrian
Jerry-
Belew.
Oh, Adrian.
Fucking-
Adrian Belew also
Yeah.
produced Kevin Max's solo debut, Stereotype B.
Wow. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm still struck by like the fact that Adrian Belew is here once again on our podcast, but I don't want to like overlook Ashley's guess of Devin Townsend. We cannot let that slip under the cracks.
I was gonna guess Jerry Harrison because that sort of the
I
fact
can see that.
Yeah,
Oh yeah,
it
he
kind of
produced
sounds like
Throwing
live.
Copper
Yeah.
by Live,
Yeah.
which they're not a
yeah.
Christian band, but they sound like they could be Christian.
Yeah.
They're
Live
Eastern
actually
religion.
has an actual like full-on Christian album. It's called Songs from Black Mountain.
No,
I don't
that's
know
true.
what in the
No,
world
they
Ed
were-
Kowalsk's saying about it, but I don't know. Maybe it's something about placentas falling to the floor or something.
No, that's right. They were like actually vehemently anti-Christian, but like from an Eastern religion sort of mind on their first two albums. Yeah, like Operation Spirit is very like anti-Jesus
Give it up,
and like.
give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up, give it up.
Speaking of albums that sounded like they were recorded in a fucking YMCA locker room, it's kind of trash too. Jerry Harrison gets a lot better with his mixing skills on the next album.
Yeah, I
the
mean,
weird-
like when I was looking for a clip for this one, I went through so many different like iterations of it until I realized, oh, that's not the audio sounding bad. It's supposed to sound like that.
Yeah.
It's not full of artifacts. It just sounds bad.
Wait till you hear the Apollo Stars, L. Ron Hubbard's weird jazz fusion album.
Oh boy.
No.
Oh boy.
no.
Oh boy.
God.
No, this is not like Mission Earth or anything. Like he actually legit tried to make like Chicago style jazz fusion with
That's
like
really funny.
That's
bits
the
of,
deep dish
like-
jazz, right?
Chicago, but like Dizzy Gillespie was playing.
All right, guys, what if we tried to play a song that was kind of like Afternoon, or what is it, Afternoon
Delight.
in the Park? No.
Friday,
Does anyone know what time it is? But we make it about child brides, okay?
I want to sing about Xenu, but like I also want the guitar to sound like it's constantly feedbacking.
Like, you know what? There's no money in sci-fi. The money is in jazz. There's no money in jazz? Okay, the money is in religion.
25 or 624. That is the amount of thetans we will need to expel from your system.
I actually wrote a screenplay where two of my characters actually watch a Scientology instructional video, and they immediately just walk out of the theater because they're like, "Oh, this is crap." And it ends with the L. Ron Hubbard parody, having a heart attack and fall down an escalator.
Excellent.
So, that's the Jars of Clay, am I right?
Yeah. I don't have a ton more to say about this one. Other than that, it's a song that I know, and it is technically Christian
One that's
rock.
very easy to mistake for not Christian rock.
Right.
Yeah, I mean, like the
Ugly.
message of
Yeah.
it is like, it sounds like it's kind of like, about being in the dregs. I read some of the comments, like a few people have listened to it, like, overcoming addiction and stuff like that. Being down in the mud and lift me up. Kind of finding spirituality to help you out of those things. Like, I mean, I'm not gonna dig at these guys for that. Like, it's a little bit corny, but like it's also like a very perfectly good, strong message.
Yeah.
Oh, it's certainly a lot better than other songs that people claimed got him through addiction. Like, you've ever heard of a band called Big Daddy Weave? The bassist got COVID, got his feet cut off, and died.
Oh,
Jesus
And-
Christ.
yikes.
And but the thing is I was thinking, they're named Big Daddy Weave. I wonder if they're an interesting kind of sounding band. Have a little bit of country in there. No, they sound like every other generic praise and worship band. And they have a song called My Story, and everybody's like, "Oh man, this got me over taking cocaine."
Oh,
I'm
boy,
like-
that's unfortunate when people find inspiration in mediocrity.
Well, that's pretty much my entire life. I like
But yeah,
I like Joe Dante movies, so.
Jars of Clay, the album, is considered to be a landmark album of Christian rock, even though very few electric guitars are used, leading some to categorize Jars of Clay as folk rock, alternative folk, or even pop instead. The album was listed on number 22 in the 2001 book CCM Magazine Presents the 100 Greatest Albums in Christian Music.
Oh.
And looking at the professional ratings, this seems very similar to the Savior Machine one that we just touched on, in that this seems to be like the, the essential album in there. Like
All Music gave it 4.5 out of 5 stars. That's
yeah,
like,
4.5
really
from
good.
All Music. Cross Rhythms gave him a full 10 stars. The website Jesus Freak Hideout gave him 5 stars. Entertainment Weekly gave it a C.
Wow. Okay, Entertainment Weekly.
Much Afraid is a
Sorry.
much better album than the first album. That's how highly I recommend it.
Anyway, why don't we move on to another pick from Ashley to move the cycle back around again. What have you got for us in our next track?
Okay, I was really back and forth on whether I should choose the album that the group that we were going to talk about, or Maylene and the Sons of Disaster. And I highly recommend y'all check them out. They're fantastic, just like straight up hardcore. It's one of those just like, oh yeah, you just throw this on. But this band, the one that we're about to talk about, is a band that I keep going back to and keep listening to and forgetting why I stopped listening to them. This is Demon Hunter.
Okay. Here's Defense Mechanism by Demon Hunter, which I am frankly shocked to find that Max Calavera of Soulfly is a guest on it. Jesus, Jesus.
So
Jesus loves me. He
If
loves
you-
me a bunch.
So with Max
A whole
Cavalera,
huggy bunch.
like they put out 2 new songs off of their upcoming album Exile, and this is one of them. And I chose this one over the other one because I really just wanted an excuse to talk about Max Cavalera. For those that don't know, because I had to explain Max to some other folks, Max Cavalera.
Is it Cavalera? I've been calling him Calavera this whole time.
I think it's Cavalera. That's how I've always pronounced it, but maybe I'm wrong.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, maybe one of us is wrong. Who is it?
Oh.
We don't know.
I I just
Save
know
it
him.
for the
It's
apologies next
it's
week.
Cavalera. I'm wrong.
Oh, I just know him as the Soulfly guy.
Yep.
The guy's like roots, really
I got
roots.
my Sepultura mixed up with Grim Fandango.
But yeah, with Max Cavalera, after he lost his, I believe it was stepson Dino, he formed Soulfly, and Soulfly has been like after he left Sepultura, he started Soulfly, and Soulfly is absolutely very much rooted in a lot of overt Christianity, which a lot of people don't really see or understand. And truthfully, when you've got lyrics like "back to the primitive, fuck all your bullshit," it doesn't always show up. But again, like a lot of it is, the whole name of Soulfly is a celebration of Dino and other people that Max has lost, flying their souls flying up into heaven. And when you look at his stance on LGBTQ rights, when you look at Max Cavalera's stance on a lot of things, yeah, don't do that.
Oh no!
Just don't do it.
Oh no!
You won't
Am I gonna need to throw out my copy of Roots?
Possibly. I still listen to Sepultura. Like, I feel like I still listen to
no.
Sepultura. I still listen to that stuff. I actually quite enjoyed this song from Demon Hunter. And I know that we're talking about Max Cavalera a lot, but I just wanted to point that out because it is very major that Demon Hunter have Max Cavalera on here. And I think another member of Judas Priest is on another song from Exile that's coming out. The reason, and so there,
Yeah, that worth mentioning. This is the only one from this year. In our selection.
So they put out this one, and they put out another song that I'm going to look up real quick because I had it and I had the lyrics to it. It was between Defense Mechanism and Freedom is Dead.
Oh boy! See, it's funny you mention that because when I started looking at the lyrics to this, and this has kind of become my own sort of sense of paranoia. Every time I hear like this kind of like very beat down bro-y heavy metal, I always think to myself, okay, 50-50 chance this is a song about fuck cancel culture.
Yep.
And reading the lyrics to this now, very, very, like, you could make an argument that this is about, like, fuck cancel culture. And then as soon as you said freedom is dead, it's like, okay.
So, and I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I want to, because a lot of what they have said in interviews, particularly recently, there was one that I am pulling up now with Loudwire, where they specifically were asked about their Christianity and bringing that in, and this was from 2019. They said, poking at that bubble, sorry, I'm quoting, it's a good question. It's not that it doesn't exist at all, but for us, I don't want to alienate fans. That's definitely not my agenda. But what can we possibly do to loosen the grip on some of the fundamental ideals that, unfortunately, a lot of the time go along with Christianity? Especially in this day and age, and this political climate, etc., what can I do to hopefully open people's minds to things that are not quite rigid and, like I said, fundamental? And I got a lot of hope from that interview, just talking about that idea of, like, pushing back against the fundamentalism of Christianity itself and just kind of trying to figure things out. But I'd love to read to you because Exile is a what do you call that thing when an album has a story? Concept album.
Yeah.
I am the best guest. I'd love to read to you the story of the concept album real quick, if I can.
Oh boy.
Exile. In the not-so-distant future, tech has overtaken real life in frightening ways. Society has divided. Freedom has died. The vast majority aligned with a faction called the MAS, an organization that doles out harsh sentencing to anyone at any time for anything they deem disagreeable. The rest have either been hunted down and killed or have quietly vanished into obscurity.
This is an Alex Jones conspiracy.
Oh, I hate this.
Jesus
shit.
Christ! Jesus Christ! This is just freaking. Kilroy was here by Styx. Why in the world did they rewrite Kilroy was here?
Ryan Clark, you just posted cringe.
Yeah, big time cringe.
So that's the basic idea. And unfortunately, I was like, I want to give them the benefit of the doubt. I really do. And I kept trying to give them the benefit of the doubt. And then I remembered back, this is, and I'm pulling it from Wikipedia, but it's sourced from Esquire. According to an Esquire interview, after Metallica required that the U.S. military stop using their music during interrogations in Iraq, Demon Hunter allegedly contacted the U.S. military, offering their music as an alternative.
Oh boy.
Jesus Christ.
Which was accepted.
Which I like. Good on Metallica for being like, yeah, we want to be part of this like Abu Ghraib bullshit. And then these guys come up with like, no, actually, we approve of the torture.
And
the torture was
they
good.
didn't even, they offered it up. They weren't asking for that. They offered it up.
Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait for the creators of Barney the Dinosaur to actually be like, yeah, I know, we like our music being played over at Gitmo.
So I wanted to offer all of that because, boy, I really like their music, and then I forget why I stopped listening to them every couple of years, and I pick them back up, and I'm like, yeah, oh, right, that's what this is.
Oh, it's like me and Brand New, but if Brand New, if Jesse Lacey wasn't a sex pest and instead actually tried to sell his music to the military.
I get that. Every so often I find myself humming The Quiet Things No One Ever Knows, and I have to stop myself just like, no. You cannot have
That's so
sex.
funny.
You cannot have sex pest songs in your head.
That's funny. I was just thinking about Brand New because we were talking about songs called Jesus Christ, and they have a song off that album called Jesus Christ, don't they?
Woody Allen's written about Jesus Christ. I still think about him every now and again.
A lot of sex pests
Fuck.
have. But yeah, I more than anything else,
just
I wanted
like
to offer
Jesus.
this. I wanted to offer this because it just came out, so I was like, oh, okay, why not? I'll give it a shot. I'll see. And I was just like, yeah, this is actually pretty good. Then I looked at the lyrics and I was like, okay, this is a little questionable. Okay, this
See,
is a lot.
I wanted to
questionable.
I wanted to chime in about your 2019 interview because in the same Wikipedia article in the Christianity section, like from what appears to be a 2021 interview, one of the members states, I guess we like to ride the fence. Then as we got older, maybe wiser. And you know what? We're a Christian band. We're 5 dudes. We're all believers. We really don't want to ride the fence anymore. So maybe like it was just that 2-year difference that all it took for them to be like, well, fuck this.
Yeah, I guess they fell off that fence on the wrong side.
Yeah, right.
That's
that
okay.
reminds me. That
this
reminds me of.
Oh.
That reminds me of another band. I'm not going to spoil it yet, but yeah, just hearing about some stuff.
Oh,
It's like,
Oh, goody.
Spoilers. It's you two. No, I don't know.
what is it? That South Park episode where Randy's, where it's like, oh, Bono's kind of a crap person. I wonder if he's actually made out of excrement. Trey Parker and Matt Stone, comedic geniuses / sarcasm.
Yep, that classic twisted South Park humor. That's okay if you feel bad about falling on the wrong side. This episode, as I mentioned, is all about exorcising demons in a lot of ways. And on that note, why don't we go to Shane's next track?
So,
This one, I will point out, I was not expecting this at all.
No, me neither.
Yeah.
My favorite of all of the tracks we've done today. I still find myself humming along to it and singing it to myself.
Okay, so a little bit of background. So the start of the Christian music industry was in the 60s with the Jesus movement. A whole bunch of hippies got burned out and are like, okay, I'm going to go believe in Jesus now. Yeah, like, I don't want to take a lot of acid, get involved in the Manson family murders. I want to go believe in Jesus, go to some churches. A whole bunch of hippies went over to Calvary Church over in somewhere in California, led by Chuck Smith and
Chex Mix?
no, Chuck Smith.
Chex Mix?
Yeah,
I like
Chuck
Chex
Smith.
Mix.
Yeah, Pringles can. Yeah, just Pringles can.
Yes, that famous
just,
Christian musician Pringles Can.
Got a great
Yeah,
mustache.
but he's not a Christian musician. He's an evangelist, but he gets a whole bunch of musicians together because a whole bunch of the hippies used to be in like psychedelic rock bands, and a whole bunch of them started forming around this sort of church. They created a lot of the early bands in the Jesus music movement. You get a lot of bands like a lot of artists like Randy Stonehill and Larry Norman and all that. There was
Hooker.
there was one band in Illinois called Jubal's Last Band, or I don't know, like somewhere in the Midwest. They called themselves Jubal's Last Band. They sounded like the Eagles if they sang about God. And
Sounds awful.
but they found out there was another band called Jubal's Last Band, so they decided to quickly rename themselves into Daniel Amos, make a Christian country rock album, and then after that they're like, okay, screw it, let's just do anything we want. So starting with their second album, they made Baroque, progressive, country, comedy, Christian rock. And
Wow.
like it's
Wow.
oh yeah, and like I really do mean that. It actually, it's like country prog, but like again, they're still singing about Jesus. They're still evangelizing. They're getting some noticed. Their lit record label is getting like becoming bigger and bigger. And then the record label Maranatha says, okay, we just want to release children's music and gospel now. That pisses off Daniel Amos. Pisses off Terry Scott Taylor, because he's written all this really challenging material for this new album called Horrendous Disc, which the band has recorded, and now they gotta like shop it to another label, and they even try shopping it to major labels. They shop it to Warner Brothers, they shop it to Columbia, but Word Records ends like big name in independent Christian music ends up picking it up. Licenses it to Larry Norman, and Larry Norman takes 3 years to release the thing because I don't know, maybe he got too busy with his life. So the album ends up coming out about 3 weeks before Daniel Amos releases, the first part of a no wave, new wavy, synth pop, dark synth concept quadrilogy called the Alarma Chronicles. But Horrendous Disc comes out, and it's this weird, like, art pop album. And a song that threw me back when I was listening to it. Well, actually, all the songs threw me back because, it's like, I wasn't expecting any Christian music to sound this good. Much less have any of the same, same quality that a lot of, like, mainstream music does. But there was one song I'm like, oh, this sounds a lot like early Split Ends. And that song is On the Line.
Here it is, On the Line by Daniel Amos. I fucking love those saxophones.
Yeah.
Oh, I do
It's
too.
it's the absolute most perfect, like, sort of amount of, like, yacht rock and new wave combination sort of thing.
It really does remind me of, like, the song by Split Ends called Sweet Dreams. Just, like, I love the idea that it's jazzy, it's smooth, but it's like, wow, this is weird. This basic song about somebody evangelizing to somebody on the radio. That's what the song is about, is person listening to God on the radio. And it's like, wow, evangelism has not only sounded this fun, but actually pretty damn good.
I mean, when I first heard it, like, a little ways into it, like, the first thing I thought was, holy shit, this could have been a Sparks song. And anyone who's listened to this podcast know I fucking love me some Sparks.
Yeah,
Oh,
I could hear that, a little bit
definitely.
of like Roxy music too. I was feeling when I was listening to this, and it's like a 5.5 minute song or something. It goes through some changes for sure. There's some kind of
yeah.
cool like musical interludes that happen later on, which is like, like it's not necessary for selling the Jesus message. So it's like, at that point, it's just like they're just making music. They're just having fun making
Daniel
music.
Amos is one of the best bands of all time. Like, I have Shotgun Angel, I have Horrendous Disc, I have the first two of the Alarma Chronicles. I legitimately love this band. I consider him the absolute gold standard in Christian rock. Same with Starflyer 59. But the thing is that with Daniel Amos, it's like, they're actually one of the few Christian rock bands on RYM that, even though they don't have more than, I think, like maybe 100 ratings, they still get a lot of respect from people that actually do go out of their way to listen to them. And I've thought about, shelling out the $80 for the deluxe edition of this album, which comes with not only a vinyl pressing of the album, but it comes with about like 5 discs, some collectibles, a pin, and some posters.
Nice.
And you'd actually be supporting the artist directly. You'd be supporting the main songwriter, Terry Scott Taylor, who, if you are very well aware of video gaming, he composed the music for a game called The Neverhood.
Yep. Unfortunately, another creation of Doug Ten Naple, though.
Oh no.
Yeah.
But, you can't really
Him
fault
and his
Terry Scott
10
Taylor
nipples.
for that.
But the music in that game is fucking great. I used to love the Neverhood growing up.
Yeah, I will say about the music, it's definitely further away from that point that I was making with Stryper, where a lot of Christian music has this tendency to be like, well, there's better stuff elsewhere, but we can't listen to it, so we'll just, it moves away from that idea of like, we have rock music at home, and then the rock music at home is Stryper.
Well, the music is more like a means to an end for like relaying this
They're
message.
putting the
Yeah.
evangelizing before the actual music.
Yeah, this was actually like, if somebody threw this on at a barbecue or something, I would probably have a lot of fun with it. Like, this seems like something that would like not seem out of place.
Yeah,
Just-
On the Line in particular feels like a song that would fit in perfectly at like some 80s night.
Oh, yeah. And everybody listening to this podcast right now, do yourself a favor, pause it right now, and listen to Daniel Amos, listen to On the Line, listen to Horrendous Disc, listen to I Love You Number 9, listen to New Car, listen to Mall Around the World, listen to Darn Floor Big Bite. Just listen to anything by this band. I want people to know about this band because they are just that good. Terry Scott Taylor, and I'm not exaggerating, not like any of the other times where I'm just mentioning, the Beatles are country or something like that. Or, Sepultura is Motown. When I really mean this from the bottom of my heart, Terry Scott Taylor is one of the greatest songwriters of all time.
Yeah, I'm genuinely curious. I might do like a deep dive on my own time afterwards. In
Just
fact,
don't
like do what Shane says. Pause the episode right now. Pause it now. Okay, welcome back. You took 5 years to listen to his entire discography. That was way too long.
Thank you for
Yeah,
remembering.
we're all
this,
dead
though.
now.
We sat
really
here for
appreciate
5 whole years waiting for you to get back.
Yeah,
Patrick's
I've
covered in dust.
Yeah,
I'm a
always covered in
skeleton.
cobwebs.
I am a skeleton now.
His kid, he missed his kid going to preschool.
Yeah.
You
I
heartless
am a
bastards.
I am dead. I'm actually a skeleton now. People have discovered me and written about me in the Weekly World
Yeah,
News.
you can't see, but that Shane is not joking. There is an actual skeleton making clickety clackety bone noises right now on Zoom.
Spooky, scary skeletons.
Ashley's perfectly fine though. She
Oh, yeah.
aged gracefully.
Yeah, I haven't changed at all, honestly. It's good genetics mixed with a good diet, honestly.
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
On that note, why don't we go to my other pick, which I frankly do not recommend you check out. This one, as I mentioned, like I have no experience with it, so I pretty much just picked the first few Christian acts I could think of. Stryper, unfortunately, was the first one that came to mind, and then this act, which has been in the news lately for some pretty shitty reasons. Here's "Monster" by the band Skillet.
Animal I have become. Do you believe that it's a real me? Something in the animal.
I was just about to say, like, I don't think anyone could be forgiven for mistaking this for literally every other band that sounds like this. You get, like, 3 days
Grace.
3 Days Grace, Crossfade.
I really thought he was saying rock star instead of monster, and I was just like, okay, sure, yeah, you feel like a rock star.
Cherry.
Why not? He's like,
This
no.
sound. Remember that dark ride at that weird theme park, Hard Rock Cafe tried to run in Myrtle Beach, and they
Oh wow! No. I mean, I've been to Myrtle Beach a couple times, but I hadn't been to that Hard Rock Cafe.
Okay, here's the thing. It got rebranded into another park. Now it's abandoned, but when they rebranded it to another park, they lost the rights to the dark ride theme, which is Nights in White Satin by Moody Blues, and they had to retheme it to Monstars of Rock. I imagine that this is the song playing on Monstars of Rock, and I'm like, okay.
You don't think it's the Monstars anthem from Space Jam?
No, the Monster. No. Space Jam has a little bit of respect.
Because I would prefer that much more to this.
Oh wait. What do you mean? It's like.
No. The rap song on it that had like Method Man on it and Be Real, Busta Rhymes was that. Let's move on.
All the Monsters.
Yeah, the Monsters.
Oh, I don't even like Space Jam.
Fair enough. But yeah, the second single from their 2009 album, Awake. It's technically their biggest breakthrough sort of song. It reached number 4 on the U.S. Billboard Mainstream Rock and number 1 on the Billboard Bumbling.
Yeah.
Billboard Bumbling.
You know, that slip may actually be appropriate. Billboard Bumbling under Hot 100 chart.
Bumbling under 100. Just bumping into each other like.
Was it doing like falling down a flight of stairs?
So in 2019,
Come on, Skillet. The Hot 100 chart's over here. Coming, Billboard. Oh God.
Billboard's just like the Three Stooges, but like if everybody just poked each other in the eyes at the same time.
So,
And they all went, "Help!"
so for those that don't know, I love professional wrestling. I don't know if that's come across yet, but it's
come up a few times.
Yes.
I assumed so for when you brought wrestling up when we were talking about
Yeah. Do you know about the Scott Steiner math promo?
Oh God, of course. Are you kidding me? I had somebody present it as if it was a Shakespearean monologue in a video once.
Oh, I've written
It's
that
great.
I've written that in the same screenplay where the two lesbians go watch the Scientology video.
See, I'm a genetic freak, so I know that Skillet, in fact, did the 2019 WWE Raw theme. Legendary. So when you brought up Skillet, I was like, that name is super familiar. Why do I know the name Skillet? Oh, they like a lot of very famous bands, notably the Union Underground, created music for WWE. And
Skillet started out as not even a good band either. They started out as like, the worst post-grunge band in the world, and then they're like, oh, let's be metal. And I had to hear
And then they got so much better into a not so great band.
They were worse than this at one point.
This is the best Skillet you have to offer?
hey, listen to a song called Gasoline by Skillet.
I don't wanna. I might.
No,
but I don't
See their
wanna.
song?
Do it.
So this song in particular... Yep, pause the episode, go listen to Gasoline by Skillet.
Your Skillet discography, please.
Okay, we're back. Why did that take 5 years too? It's just one song.
It's a really long one.
You're very inefficient, listener.
Now I'm actually entombed in the Bass Pro Shops pyramid.
Yeah, you're haunting the Bass Pro Shops pyramid. Like this song in particular, like when I listened to it without really analyzing the lyrics, I thought, oh, this is a very typical like post-grunge hard rock sad boy, like I have a demon in me, I can't control my anger sort of song. And then I looked it up on Genius, and apparently the singer John Cooper told in an interview with Stereo Truth that Monster is a song about being fake and putting on a face for people that's not the real you. Okay.
What?
All right. What's it have to do with Jesus?
It's
Maybe,
Skillet.
like,
It's Skillet. Nothing has anything to do with Jesus anymore.
Maybe hiding your own Christianity from people or something? I don't know.
I was in youth group. I had to hear Skillet all the time. I wanted to what's that thing where you like drill into your skull to like leak out
trepanation?
Yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to do that to me.
I'm just
because
picturing like an old Irish Catholic school, like the old Irish nuns are like, all right, Shane, it's time to listen to your skillet. Say your Hail Marys. All one listens. Oh, it's time.
Now, one thing we haven't really brought up, especially with the idea of the Christian music, is there is a certain amount of Christianity that has to be within the music for them to be considered Christian for the charts for these various things. So it is curious when we do hear a lot of music that doesn't directly have to do with Jesus, doesn't directly have to do with faith, but is just sort of more general. And it still works, and it still works, but you know what I mean? Like, it's still part of that group and that
It still works for its
characterization.
intentions.
Yeah. There's a conversation killer. Great. So, Skillet, am I right? They suck.
Yeah. Like, literally the only reason I picked them is because their lead singer, John Cooper, has kind of been in the news a lot lately for some comparatively shitty reasons. Oh, yeah. He's a big anti-mask guy.
Yeah, I'm
for
not
starters.
Of course.
Oh, the guy from Christafari is a anti-mask guy. And when I mean Christafari, you're thinking, oh, he must be a famous reggae superstar. No, he's a white dude that got busted by his parents for selling marijuana, or smoking marijuana, went to youth group, started trying to sing Christian reggae. It's like, oh, you're like Christafari.
I think it was like Christ Safari.
See, I was hearing that too.
Christ
I
Safari.
was just like, does he wear a pith helmet? If so, that's also not great, but it would be
God,
on brand.
I wish. I wish. I wish a lot of Christian bands would actually be very gimmicky. I mean, Aquabats, they're all Mormons, right?
Are they?
Oh, yeah, that's
Oh.
true. Not really. They wouldn't really call them a religious band, though.
Yeah, but, they did sing about that time that they were super rad. Maybe they were super rad by God.
Oh, yeah. I mean, you don't just become super rad. Like, yeah.
Super
they're
radness
kinda like-
isn't for everybody.
They're kind of like
Okay.
Oakley Dokley, but instead of Ned Flanders, it's Jesus Christ.
It's John
okay.
Smith.
It's John
Red
Smith.
Red Hot Chili Peppers, but Anthony Kiedis actually does look like the Apostle John.
But anyway, to close that out, I have a page on metalsucks.net opened up for every single story they've run with the tag John Cooper, the lead singer of Skillet. I'm just going to read you the titles of these 4 stories that are up here. Skillet versus Queensryche, religion versus science, anti-masking versus masking.
Did you just say? Did you? No.
August
Back up, back up,
August
back up.
17th, 2021.
No, stop right now. Hold on. Did you just say Skillet versus Queensryche?
Oh, yes. John Cooper and Todd Latour, the current singer of Queensryche, got into a war of words over vaccines.
We know the Skillet.
Oh, I
Excellent.
remember.
Skillet.
Excellent. All right, I'm ready.
love it.
I'm
Okay.
ready to hear.
Oh, I
about
remember
this.
when Jeff Tate's current guitarist got busted for credit card fraud.
Like you do.
All right, man, I
here's
want you to
the
take
next-
this
have
card.
other, you have other headlines though. That was
Oh,
just like a
yes.
hell of a one to start with. So, but
Yeah, that was just an appetizer. That's just a starter. And this is, frankly, another starter. Unvaccinated Skillet singer. I got 0 poops for the science. September
poops
22nd, 2021.
He can't swear because he's religious.
that right there is a deep fried jalapeno popper. Okay, that's what that is right there.
That's an actual
Oh,
quote.
that reminds.
The full quote is, "The science means nothing to me. I got 0 poops for the science because they don't even believe what they're saying. It's not about data for these people. It's about dogma."
Oh, that reminds me
doo-doo.
when. Oh, that reminds me of this time that Kirk Cameron was in a wedding, like in a marriage theme film, and he's supposed to have this really big fight with his wife. And instead of actually using profanities, he said, "You stupid, ungrateful woman." It just his neck veins are sticking out. It's like he wants to say the B word, but he can't because maybe the kids are watching him beat up a computer because he's jerking off the boat porn.
Kirk Cameron, famously, who has to have a wife character cast who looks like his wife so that she can stand in to kiss him during the kissing scenes.
Oh,
'Cause he
that's
won't kiss
the
anyone
that's
else.
that's the exact movie I'm talking about. Fireproof.
yes,
yeah.
yes, fireproof. Okay.
Oh boy.
Oh,
Here's our entree.
Yes. Okay.
Skillet frontman believes he's revolutionary, while Rage Against the Machine are government rock. December 3rd, 2021.
Okay, I'm trying to find like a marker.
That right there is some surf and turf right here. That's a good entree right there.
Mwah. Government rock.
Oh,
Dear
yeah,
God,
that's...
I love it. You love to hear it. You love to hear it. Rage Against the Machine.
Oh God.
The woke moralists.
Oh God. Now I know why people do inhalers.
And here's our dessert.
Oh boy.
Throwback. Skillet were fetish daddies for Christ in 2000's Best Kept Secret video.
Wait, what?
July-
What?
July 22nd, 2022. Yesterday.
Skillet were fetish daddies. Like, are we talking like? Wait.
That's not good Christian fun.
Hold on.
Oh my goodness. So I just actually clicked the article, and there is the photo that's adjoining it. Looks frankly amazing. The photo of Skillet's old album and how they looked at the time. Let me see if I can like post it in the chat right
Okay.
here.
Yeah.
If I can post like a photo, if you'll just give me a second, I'll just.
Sure.
Where is it? I know it's in here somewhere. God damn. Oh, never mind. Shane beat me to the punch. Look at that.
Look. I just look.
Isn't that just the most
Oh God.
That's
wonderful collection of aughts twinks you've ever
Oh my
seen?
god. Yep.
Oh, isn't that just? Well, I just looked up Skillet fetish daddies.
That's a weird placebo album cover right there.
Like it looks
I
like,
like the
an
little,
ad for clearance at Hot Topic.
Oh, it looks
The
like it.
little, like,
Forget
metal
Hot
trim
Topic.
on
It
the
looks like an ad
outside.
for clearance at Five Below.
It looks like that Tim and Eric episode where they shill for energy drink and they die from drinking too much
And
energy
this-
drink.
and
Oh my God. Yeah.
And this guy, like right in the very back, that's very clearly the guy from Smash Mouse's brother. Smash Mouse's
yeah.
brother.
Jeff Mouth.
Steve Harwell's brother Dave.
Hey, it's me, Dave.
Dave Harwell, the brother he wants to keep secret, so he keeps him in the attic and feeds him fish heads.
Yeah, I like the embossed metal on the outside of this. Very, very late 90s.
Oh, I'm trying to see whether or not John Cooper. I'm guessing he's the one with the blonde hair. I'm trying to see whether or not his bangs are actually like
Attached to anything?
no, not just that, but actually like locked. You know, like
Oh yeah.
like you know, like white boy dreads.
Like their white people dreads?
As was the
Yep.
style of the time.
Yeah, John Cooper, the same guy that I mentioned in our chat, who was very anti-deconstruction movement. So you know he's fun.
Yep. Yeah, I know some people that have.
the post-Civil War movement. Oh no, it's Reconstruction. I was like a little late for that, dude.
I'm pretty sure John Cooper's probably going to lead the Confederacy whenever that eventually happens,
yeah.
knowing the way that America's
Oh,
going.
Pat, you'll like this. On Wikipedia, born in Murmpuff.
Oh, perfect. Of
A
course.
citizen of Speaking of Patrick, we got one more song from you, don't we?
Yeah, let's round the bases here. We're getting a little long in the tooth here. So again,
Yeah.
thinking of kind of contemporary / crossover Christian bands, particularly in like the alternative post grunge school, since that's I don't know, I have some familiarity with that genre for sure, being a child of the 90s. But anyway, this song I actually heard and saw this video before Switchfoot got spoiler alert, it's Switchfoot. Before they got like really popular, they had Meant to Live that came out like in 2003 or something like that.
I feel like that's the exact amount of like, excitement and passion you should be doing for like Switchfoot. Spoiler alert, it's Switchfoot.
Yeah, I doubt anyone was like, oh my god, what is it? What's this band going to be? Is it going to be Creed? No, it's so I actually saw this video like, oh god, it was like 1 or 2 in the morning. I want to say I was like 18, so this was like 2002. There was some sort of like, I guess I didn't know what it was, but some sort of Christian rock like music video programming that they had on like TV 38 or something really late at night. And I caught this song, and I actually kind of liked it, but this was before I knew it was Christian rock. And then I, watched it all the way through the end of the video, and then immediately was told this is Christian rock programming, and got a nice PSA about porn addiction, which was kind of interesting. We weren't getting a lot of that in 2002, but
I mean, I guess their marketing department knows who's up at that time.
yeah, exactly. So it's like, well, you know what, guys, I was gonna log on to bigbutts.com and have a time, but
Did you enjoy this
know what? You
music?
talked
Well,
me out
don't
of it.
fingle your dingle. Like,
yeah, this will take you out of the mood very quickly. Anyway, yeah, let's hear the song. It's the fuck is it called? You Already Take Me There.
Here's "You Already Take Me There" by Switchfoot.
Already take me there. Already take me there. You already take me there. Heaven and God here and now. I'm a broken hearted.
This one, another one that's kind of circling us back to post-grunge in a little bit.
Yeah, and like
It's
Again,
released in
not
2000. That's the
yeah.
right era for it.
2000. Okay, so it was a couple of years. Oddly enough, "Dare You to Move," an early version of that song, was on that album, and then I guess they redid
Oh,
it for
so
the
it
next
was.
Oh yeah, "Learning to Breathe" is one of my favorite Switchfoot albums.
one, which I liked "Meant to Live" when it came out too. That's a catchy riff for sure. Again, like not immediately obvious that this was like had heavy Christian overtones, but then reading the lyrics afterwards, I'm like, oh yeah, this is about.
Has
Jesus.
anybody heard The Legend of Chin, their first album? It's a power pop album.
No, I
Interesting.
have literally only heard 2 Switchfoot songs before this.
I think this is. The
Oh,
first
I
I've heard.
I listened to a lot of Switchfoot and youth groups, so I'm pretty familiar
boy.
with them.
I
And they are legitimate. Yeah, they are pretty good. Legend of Chin's a pretty good album. Learning to Breathe is a pretty good album. Beautiful Letdown's alright. Nothing Is Sound is pretty good. Oh, Gravity's actually a nice little album. John Foreman, you're awesome.
the only thing I can think of is this sounds like the Friends theme.
Well, that's
It-
pretty much
it
every
does.
Switchfoot
It
song.
really, truly
Oh
does.
man, I don't want to just keep listening to the Friends theme.
And I feel like whether you're aware of it or not, you've probably heard at least one Switchfoot song if you've had a rock radio on during the aughts.
Yeah.
Oh, when
Whether
I
it was
was
'Dare You to
100%.
Move' or 'Meant to Live'.
Oh, I was in 8th grade. I heard Stars all the time alongside this commercial for a
Oh,
Buffalo
I
wing
don't doubt you
restaurant.
heard it. I was talking to Ashley.
Yeah. I mean, I've probably heard it at the dentist or something. Like that's where I consume most of
Probably.
my new music. Y'all ever hear
Oh,
of
they
this
do
band, The
this.
Postal Service? I just heard them at the dentist. They seem wonderful.
Oh, have you ever heard of this new band called Neutral Milk Hotel?
This
They
guy's
love Jesus
really
Christ.
going places. This
They
guy's
love
really-
Jesus Karahaha Heist.
Man,
Oh,
can't
you've
wait to see
ever-
what this guy's next album is.
Oh, you've ever heard of
Question
this
mark.
guy called Elvis?
Any of you guys see like the John Lennon Facebook official page? It's like a verified page for John Lennon for something. But he posted this John Lennon like social media person posted a status that was like, before Elvis there was nothing.
Oh my god.
Wow.
It's so cringy. Like, what fucking idiot boomer is running this page?
I can't
It's
wait
so
to hear
bad.
official John Lennon's official stance on vaccination and masks.
Oh no, you don't.
No, I actually I can in fact wait. Please don't ever.
Official
I don't
John-
want to know if they post something.
Yeah,
don't
I would
tell
say-
me.
Yeah, I would
Yo.
say we have nothing but time to wait.
Yo, official John Lennon, have you listened to Buckingham Green and watched RRR yet?
Oh, that's your band, Buckingham Green, right?
Yeah.
Named after
Yeah,
the
we're-
Ween song.
Yeah, we're in the middle of making a new album. It's pretty spicy, and we got all the hot emo pop riffs.
Hey,
and
John
the hot-
Lennon official, why are you so quiet on the new Buckingham Green album?
No,
gonna
I also
DM him
said
right now.
and watched RRR. Why isn't new John Lennon official praising the Natu Natu dance scene?
Why is official John Lennon too afraid to listen to Buckingham Green?
Why doesn't he watch Nope yet?
Why don't you like smell? Huh?
Official John Lennon needs to listen to Husker Du.
Hey, official John Lennon, how come you haven't heard any songs by Fatigue yet? Are you chicken?
Huh?
To be fair,
Too cowardly to listen to Gremlins?
Extreme.
That's
Nuno
technically smell.
Betancourt.
That's technically smell, isn't it? At this point.
Yeah, close enough. But if you're deep in the lore enough, you know who. Graham
Yo,
is.
official John Lennon, have you ever listened to AC?
no, it's in the other room. I mean, I listen to it sometimes because it's just like constantly on.
No, I don't. I don't mean air conditioning. I mean the other.
Oh.
Seth Putnam screaming out Stormfront posts for like 15 hours.
Yeah.
But he always.
I bet he- oh, boy.
Oh no!
Seth
Don't die! Please
Oh,
don't die, Shane.
Seth Putnam. I bet he would have had a lot of fun on Reddit.
But
Yeah.
so-
So let's think of currently dead celebrities that would
Yeah.
have controversial cavalier views on masking.
Seth
Instead
Putnam,
of
for sure.
instead of talking about Switchfoot, let's continue to talk about that.
Well, what
Jim
exactly are we
Morrison.
supposed to say about Switchfoot?
Jim Morrison, definitely an anti-masker. Kurt Cobain, probably an anti-masker.
Oh, I hope not. I hope not.
I know.
Yeah, I know.
I
I know you're
hope not.
riffing, but that one hits me. I hope not.
Kurt Cobain, probably not an anti-masker.
Uh,
Lane
Captain-
Staley, though, he's for sure an
Honestly,
anti-masker.
I think I'm happy not knowing his current opinions.
Brian Jones of the Brian Jonestown Massacre.
No, okay. I will say this about Lane Staley. In his defense, he punched a Nazi in the face during a show.
That's good.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dimebag
good on him
Daryl. Dimebag Daryl.
Oh, he for number one anti-masker.
I think Dimebag Daryl would have actually went to the mask factory and burned it down.
I was about to say number one with a bullet, but that would.
Yeah, no, that doesn't age well.
So anyway, that's why Christian rock.
Yeah, I don't have anything to say about Switchfoot. They're here, and
There
get
we go.
used to it.
Yep.
There we go.
I mean, I don't even know. Like, we didn't have like final thoughts on the new metal roundup, so I can't imagine we would have any for the Christian rock roundup, except
No,
to
I think
say
yeah.
check
Daniel
out
Amos
Daniel
go-
Amos. They're pretty good.
Yeah. And
Also, check out Starflyer 59 and Semler.
So
And Me Without
former guest-
You.
Oh, sorry. Former guest of the show, Franco Macaulay. I asked him if apparently he went through a Christian rock listening a few months back, and was like, yeah, there's a bunch of crazy stuff. And I asked him the other day, it was like, if you could pick two songs, and one of them that he just got back to me during the show, and one of them is in fact a Daniel Amos song. Says Daniel Amos are genuinely fucking amazing.
You
And then
know
the
what?
other one
I
he-
completely forgot that there is in fact a Christian rock band that I do genuinely like, and that's Mute Math.
Oh, Mute Math is oh yeah, their earlier band Earth Suit's actually pretty good as well. You ever wanted to hear funk new metal mixed with progressive rock and electronica?
I mean, that just sounds like my late 2000s at this point. Like,
It,
but yeah.
it sounds like it sounds like somebody tried to mix like it's like Crazy Town but good. And if Brian Eno produced Crazy Town,
Come, my lady. Come, my lady. That's all I gotta say.
Anyway,
the other song
I think-
that he sent was
Yeah.
Steve Taylor's Meltdown. I don't know who
Steve Taylor's
Taylor
a
is.
great guy, great artist. Not his first EP. He starts rambling about abortion and gay people for like one
Oh, that's-
song,
that's
but
not so good.
That's,
everything after that, everything after that is progressive and good.
And with that, thank you very much for being on the program, Ashley Rogers and Shane Smith.
Yes.
Yay! Thank you for having me.
Yeah.
Gladly.
Happy
And
to
of
Thank
course,
you,
you're both always welcome back anytime.
Yeah.
Oh, thank you.
You guys want to plug anything? Let's start with Ashley first.
God, I don't know. What am I doing? I had a podcast. Maybe I'll put the episodes that I've had pre-recorded up later. Who knows? But it's called the Is It Transphobic podcast. Basically, me and a bunch of other trans and non-binary folk consume a piece of media and ask whether it's transphobic and whether it's enjoyable.
I've been in an episode. We talked about an episode of Big Mouth.
Yes, I stopped watching Big Mouth after that. It
Yeah, I haven't kept
yeah.
up with it.
No, I think we're fine. that. I am a playwright, so if you're a theater person, you can find me on New Play Exchange. My full name is Ashley Lauren Rogers. I feel like that's going to be one person. And yeah, that's what I'm promoting.
How about you, Shane? You want to plug anything?
Yes, I got a lot of stuff to plug. New Menorah.
Like perhaps a band that John Lennon official is too scared to listen to.
The band John Lennon is too scared to listen to.
All right, so I got several things to promote. New Menorah Elm, wide range perversions in explicit detail, right now on Spotify and Bandcamp. First Buckingham Green Elm, Shane Shan Sean with collaborator Sean McGann. We also available on Spotify and Bandcamp. You can also check me out on twitter.gov under the username LIEBER M1NTZ. And I mean one as in the numeral, not, ONE.
I like that you gave a pause for people to catch up.
Watch RRR, watch Nope, watch Everything Everywhere All at Once, and always remember, stay safe, and
Case.
listen to Daniel Amos.
You want to plug anything, Pat?
Well, I just watched the 1987 film Flowers in the Attic. I don't recommend watching that movie. Pacing is terrible, and there's a lot of incest.
Is this for a must-watch movies episode?
No, it should be, but it literally was on Hulu, and my wife threw it on. Anyway.
Oh boy.
I don't know. I'm like kind of taking a break from music. I've got a son coming in October. It'll probably take up a lot of time, but I did kind of slowly start putting together some ideas for the next PSB album that will probably come out sometime in 2023. So there's that to look forward to at some point. I'm also working on something that could be a collaboration between Lils and I, and I'll.
Oh, nice.
You'll see more after that.
Very cool. I guess I'll just go check out the other shows on the Zero Science Network. Not many of them are updating currently, but we're hoping to fix that soon. Also check out Gut Rehab, the collaboration I did as Sawtooth between me and our good friend Brian Graupner, he of the Star Wars Christmas special episode that we did, like he did under his project Gasoline and Vertebrate. It's a surprisingly positive blast of industrial dark techno. So go check that out. That's on all the streaming services and all the things and such. Our theme song is Sunny Day by the band Froggy and the Friendship. You can check them out at froggyandthefriendship.bandcamp.com. If you have an album you'd like to suggest for us to review or would just like to leave us some feedback or a comment, email us at jukeboxzerospodcast@gmail.com. You can find us on Facebook at facebook.com/jukeboxzerospodcast or on Twitter at twitter.com/jukeboxzeros. You can find us, rate us, review us, and subscribe to us on Apple Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, Amazon Music, or check out our archives on the Zero Science main page. Jukebox Zeros is a production of the Zero Science Network. For more great podcasts, go to check out zero-science.com. And that about does it for this episode of Jukebox Zeros. I'm Lils.
And I'm Patrick.
And hold on, before I forget, I completely forgot to play this during the Skillet bit, but there is a very specific clip during that song that I meant to play, but completely forgot to until now. So why don't we just close out on that? Here's like after the big bridge breakdown. Here's what that sounds like.
I feel it deep within, it's just beneath the skin. I must confess that I feel like a monster.
That's right.
What?
Bye-bye.
Only the finest from
Peace,
Squeezy
peace.
Jeezy.
Good night, everybody.
Squeezy Jeezy?
Zero science.